course, it's probably been in the works for a while, but they weren't really keeping a strong lid on this either. They were looking at a number of cities to put WNBA franchises into, and they have given the go-ahead for Toronto. This is going to be their first franchise outside of the U.S. They'll start in 2026. I don't know what they'll be called. But it's basically the guy who owns all the other teams in Canada. Owns the Raptors, owns the Maple Leafs, owns the Toronto soccer team. Mm-hmm. This guy's going to have the WNBA. It's probably going to be a lost leader for this guy, but they'll play at the Coca-Cola Coliseum, and they're going to decide the name from public input. Oh, always a good...
Toronto Puckers.
Always a good thing to do. It says the WNBA currently has 12 active teams. I thought there were more than that.
Nope, 12.
Wow.
We should bring back one to Cleveland.
Well, somebody told me that the Cleveland Rockers, is that what it was? That they were one of the original WNBA teams.
They were.
So why, if they chose Cleveland, because they don't just flip a coin and figure out where they're going to go, you know, they normally do market research and all kinds of stuff. I mean, obviously, if there's money involved, that helps a great deal. But I was surprised because I was like, if they had enough belief in Cleveland, why did it not? I don't know. Why did it flop? It's the only WNBA franchise to stop operations. The only one.
Yeah, it's so weird. And the former owner of the team, he was around during the Women's Final Four weekend, like doing press conferences and things. I forget his name, but yeah, he's an older gentleman, but he was talking about the importance of female sports, and it was amazing that it was here in Cleveland, the Women's Final Four weekend. Like, I don't know.
Was that a member of the Gund family, I assume?
Maybe.
Weren't they running all that stuff back then? Yeah.
Yes, I'm not sure what happened.
They were not able to find new ownership. And so I think I read somewhere that the Cleveland Rockers were the only WNBA team to just completely stop.
Maybe it was the coach that was here, maybe not the owner.
One of the original 8 franchises. Started with former Globetrotter Lynette Woodard, who had been the first female Globetrotter. See, I guess I didn't realize that the Globetrotters, I mean, they were good at tricks, but I didn't think like they were an actual... I remember seeing the Globetrotters when I was a kid.
Me too. I didn't know they were actual like basketball
That's what I'm saying. Like they
players.
played the Washington. What was the team that always lost to the Globetrotters? The Washington Generals.
Yeah, I just thought they did like fun tricks with basketballs.
But they were, I mean, a lot of them were, I mean, they had those legacy players that were there forever, but then there'd be like guys that didn't quite make it, but they knew how to do the tricks too, or they would develop tricks so that they could tour with the Globetrotters, because they also had like big personalities and were good, on a mic or whatever, because they would do a lot of extra stuff.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
I thought the Generals were due. They're using a freaking ladder.
Yeah, and then they played the New York Nationals too. But they had a lot of Globetrotter pardon me, a lot of Globetrotters, a lot of different iterations of it, right? It started in the 20s in Chicago, and they had like, old-timey stuff then. But when I was a kid, it was like Curly Neal and Meadowlark Lemon. They were doing Scooby-Doo. I mean, there was a period of time
when
where
the Globetrotters were a big
big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because those ones that you just named are the ones that I still think of, too. Like, those are the names that I know. Because they were doing guest appearances even on Futurama.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Wilt Chamberlain played for the Globetrotters.
Yeah, because he's probably making more money with the Globetrotters than the NBA at the time.
Yeah. But they played in Russia, and it was a big deal.
Well, it is the Globetrotters. So they're going to trot.
Oh, that's
why they called them that.
Look at you, Bill.
I
so
thought
smart.
that the basketball was like a globe, and they were trotting it up and down the court.
Look at Dolphin Boy coming up with all these funny things.
Oh, Dolphin Boy.
Dolphin Boy.
Dolphins really are the smartest mammals, aren't they? Oh, all right. Well, yeah. Anyway, WNBA is going to Toronto. Congratulations to them. And I'm sure that Toronto fans are very, very excited The Toronto Polites, someone suggested.
Oh, the
interesting.
Toronto Sorries.
Lady Raptors. I don't know about that.
Yeah, no.
Bally McBallface. All right.
Basket McBallface.
Basket McBallface.
Little catchier. What else?
Yeah, that's like tough. Because
Syrup?
like,
Yeah.
you got to think of something that's going to stick forever. I mean, it reminds me
Yeah,
of when the
syrups.
Indians
Yeah.
were changing their name.
Yeah.
I mean, they wanted fan input, but that was
Yeah.
a big debate around this town.
I thought that I had, before they had officially announced it, I had read something last week about Toronto possibly getting a WNBA team. And I thought that they had already announced the name, but maybe not. I thought it was going to be like the Silver Hawks or something like that. It was some bird. I don't know.
A tufted titmouse.
The Toronto tufted titmouses. Titmice. It would have to be mice,
Oh,
yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ah, the
The
sparks.
blue-footed boobies.
There you go. The sparks of the titmice are in full force tonight, Frank. Yeah, the first team outside the United States.
The Canadian geese. That's mean. They're mean as hell.
They
Yeah.
poop all over the court.
Listen, I'm like scared of any kind of bird, but those ones. oof.
Really?
You're scared of any bird. You know they're
Yeah.
all fake. They're not real. They're all
Drones.
drones.
Well,
Birds aren't real.
Well, that's even scarier.
Yeah.
Like,
Why are you scared of birds?
I don't know, because they're always just like flying right
The
at
flu?
you, and you don't know what they're gonna do.
Where are you that birds are flying
Well,
right
I don't-
at
well,
you?
I don't know.
You're not
They're
that tall.
I mean, I'm 52 and I have managed to coexist with
Well, okay,
birds
it's not-
for a long time.
I can walk around and there's the birds, but you know when they are in their flocks and there's a lot of them, that like scares me. Like when you see, even if I'm walking a bunch of geese, I'm like, oh boy, they're getting a little too close for comfort.
Oh, you don't like groups of
Yeah,
birds?
groups of birds.
I see.
Even like pigeons.
Yeah.
I mean, like
They're
my,
up to no good as far as you're concerned.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, what are you gonna do? You gonna start pecking at me?
Now, what are you going to do? Do you cross the street when you see a group of
Yeah,
birds?
yeah, I'll
You're
go
a
the other way.
birdist. Okay.
I'll go the other way.
Yeah.
Like I can't imagine. I think one of my biggest fears would be to get up close and personal with an ostrich.
I have.
No.
Yeah. I've told the story before.
Well, tell it again.
When
if
I
you
was
don't mind.
16 years old and my brother was 15,
This is not going the way you think it's going to go.
Oh.
I don't know how you think it's going to go. My dad had a friend. He and his wife were going on a month-long cruise, and they had animals. They had a big backyard, and they had animals. They had dogs and cats. They had some various livestock, and they had 2 ostriches.
No, I was going to say, there's no way you're about to tell me someone had a pet ostrich.
Well, they took care of these animals. I don't know what they did for them or with them.
Is that
or
even
whatever.
legal?
Yeah, in
I
Illinois
guess.
it was. Yeah, I don't know if they had to get special dispensation from the Vatican. I don't know. And they had 2 ostriches, and I was 16. My brother was 15. He was going to pay us $1,000 or something, right, to
Okay.
house sit for them
For a month.
for a month. All we had to do was we went over in the morning, fed the animals, made sure everything was okay, and then stayed there every night. So we spent the night in the house every night. And then in the morning, and I had no experience with ostriches. Who the hell has experience?
No.
And they told me they're docile, don't worry about it, blah, blah, blah. Well, maybe theirs were, I thought, but ostriches are not known to be docile animals in general. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to give these things a wide berth because you definitely don't want them getting nervous or fidgety or whatever.
No.
They'll kick your ass. It's a whole thing. But up close to an ostrich, it's bananas. Because you're like, this thing is a massive animal. You know, you think they're just tall and kind of spindly. It's like a horse on its hind legs. It's like, it's a big animal.
My worst nightmare.
Of course, I tried to do the dumb thing where I tried to make an omelet with the egg. And it was a whole thing. My brother and I were like, we should try to make an omelet with the egg, bro. And we weren't prone to those kind of hijinks. But I'm like, when are we ever going to get to do this again?
Okay, wait. Okay. Let's back up. So the ostrich, they laid an egg.
Yeah.
Okay, and you said I'm gonna make an omelet with this.
Right.
Okay, and why can't you? This is a true educational thing for me. What is the big difference? It's just a lot bigger, and
It's like a bucket of water. It's like a
Ew.
giant, yeah. So we just created this
Big
just
mess.
terrible, terrible mess.
Okay, but they were nice. They did not try to attack you.
Well, we had to, he kind of gave us kind of a primer on, hey, there were a lot of notes. He didn't just go, have fun, and he and his wife took off. There were a lot of, notes, and they gave us good indications of but he's like, just be cool. Just be cool with it,
I couldn't. If they would recognize my nervous energy, it would target me for sure.
And then some crabapple tufts showed up, but that was another.
Well, explain the crabapple tufts.
Yeah, I'm like, what? This almost feels like a made up story. I know it's
no,
not.
No, it's not. No. So
I just can't believe
they had a front yard. They had a front yard with crabapple trees, and my brother and I, because again, for a month, we're spending every night there. There's nothing to do. It's this house and the animals, and once we're done making sure that everything is fine, we're trying to get girls to come over, that kind of thing. But other than that, we were throwing crab apples over the house, big 2-story kind of farmhouse thing. And I'm not an athlete. And anyway, I cut one short, and it went through the upstairs bedroom window of this house. And so I told the fib to I called my dad and told him what had happened. But I told him that some kids knew there was nobody home, and they had come out
it's thinking on your feet
and started throwing apples at the house. So a bunch of crabapple tufts
they've been dubbed
had come out and were trying to get the better of us.
That was thinking on your feet right there, Alan.
Well,
impressive lie right there.
You've got to.
And also you said you weren't an athlete. You had to have been somewhat of an athlete to throw it hard enough to go through a window.
Well, they're very small, and I don't know how thick those windows were, but we were whipping them, right? We're trying to get them over the house, and 99 of them we did. The backyard is full of crab apples. But that one, I was like, ew, like when you let it go.
Yeah.
One of those.
What if the animals got to them? Is that bad?
They were in the back. Oh, you mean the crab apples?
Yeah.
No, because the animals were all like penned in.
Oh, okay.
Right? Like they weren't just running around. We had to make sure, because we literally had to have the ostriches like on a lead. So, we'd let the thing go, but we also kind of had to have them, because they couldn't just run off.
I know. So did you have to walk them like you'd walk a dog?
Not walk them, but I kind of had to make sure that they didn't get too far afield, right? So it was a whole thing.
This is crazy.
It was a whole thing. It
I
was
just
a very
know why they wanted ostriches.
It's a very interesting month. I don't know that if I knew, I've forgotten since then. It was a long time ago. But I think they were probably selling, I don't know what they were doing, right? Part of it felt like they were
making money off of them.
Yeah. It wasn't just for, shrimps and giggles.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think you could pay me enough money to do that. Surely $1,000 to do that every day for a month, that would not, I would say, I don't think I'd do it for $1,000 a day.
Yeah, but I was 16.
Somebody
goes,
saying
I'll give you $1,000.
For my fear of
And this
ostriches.
is like, what
1987.
Yeah. So $1,000 is.
I wasn't born for like 10 more years.
I know.
10, 12
that's
more
why
years
I'm
later,
explaining.
So I wouldn't know.
I mean, in today's
That's not
dollars, $1,000, 1987, $1,000. In today's dollars,
that's a lot of money.
It's like $1,100.
Yeah. That's a lot of money.
Yeah. So.
Wow. Did not expect me to say I'm scared of birds and ostriches to hear that story. That's wild.
But my point is, an ostrich is a bird to be afraid of.
It's a big bird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree.
Or that limu emo. I don't like the
any of them.
cut of his jib.
I don't like any of them.
Mm-mm.
But the bigger ones, those are staying away from you.
So how small does a bird have to be where you go,
Like if I'm walking in downtown Cleveland, I don't know what kind of birds they are. Those little ones, and they'll all flock together if there's a piece of bread. Like I'm not scared of them.
pigeons?
No,
Just
pigeons,
flying rats.
Pigeons I am scared
Like a
of.
finch or a
Like the little baby
swallow,
ones.
stuff
They're
like
doing
that.
that. I'm
yeah.
like, oh, they're just like little babies, and they saw a piece of bread, so they're all fighting over it. They're not going to get me. Pigeons, though, I feel like they can get a little angry.
You're not whipping rocks at the tiny birds or anything like that.
No, I'm not. I'm scared of them.
Yeah.
I'm staying away. I'm just going to keep it moving.
Well,
Get to where I need to be.
you know how they say, veterinarians will often say that dogs think people are other dogs.
Oh,
Do you think that birds might think you're another bird?
maybe they might think I'm an ostrich.
Maybe.
Mm.
Tall lady.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, everything's tall to them, right? They're birds.
True,
I mean,
but-
yeah. But, I think birds are fascinating.
Oh, Oh.
I mean, we've got crows in our backyard and
Ooh,
things like that, and those
Very
are.
creepy.
I usually will awaken to a sound of a crow.
Like when people have pet birds, I'm like, are you okay? Like,
Yeah, I
that's
don't
just-
think I
into
would ever
bird
want a
people?
pet bird.
What if you meet the man in your dreams, but he's a bird guy?
Oh, it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if he had like a whole room, just all
Just
these birds in a
birds.
cage?
Here's
Oh,
my bird
that'd be my
room.
worst nightmare.
And then he's got one empty cage, but it's
This is for
human-sized.
Mm.
Yeah.
Ooh, serial killer.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, that's not for me, guys. Mm-mm.
You'll never be able to fly again, my dove.
Flip your wings.
Ha. You ever been to a wedding where they release doves?
No, I actually all the weddings I've been in
And
and have
you've
been
never
at, I've
been?
never
No.
been to one with doves.
That's probably fallen out of favor because there's people that think it's like cruelty to animals or whatever. But back in the
Yeah.
day, that was a big deal. Boy,
I
if
feel like
you
I
had a
only see it
dove
in
wedding-
movies. It's
Yeah.
a definite movie love story type of situation.
Yep.
I always
Or
think
a-
of Pretty
or a
Woman.
John Woo.
Yeah. Slow motion doves
Doves.
as there's bullets flying.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, I hope that your relationship with the avian community improves.
I don't think so. I mean,
Because all it's going to take, frankly, is one bird to win your heart. I don't know how that happens.
I don't think it's
I don't know
going
how
to.
it happens. I mean, that ostrich won my heart. I mean, when we were done house sitting, I was in tears eating that thing. So, I mean, that was a tough summer.
It sounds tough.
That was the
I mean,
summer
do you guys
that
have
I
any fear of any like
turned
animals
16.
that most people aren't fearful of?
I mean, I just like big animals are obviously going to be more
I
intimidating.
think,
but I don't know.
just
don't
I
like
give
bugs.
every animal a wide berth. I'm on your land, like you
So
know.
like a lion's walking towards you, you're like, "Hey, buddy, come here, let me
Well,
pet you."
no.
I mean, But that's
I
the
mean,
thing. Like
Oh.
anything that's big and scary is going to be
Yeah,
obviously
scary.
something like I'll watch videos and I'll see like bears and lions and stuff like that, and when they're acting like all cute and stuff, like, oh, that's adorable. But I also know I'm not getting anywhere near it
Yeah.
because it's like it in a second it can just turn and kill you.
I just thought of a bird
you know what
that
the
I
most
don't think I'd be
terrifying
scared of.
animal is?
What?
Man.
I'm sitting in a room with two of them.
Ish.
It's like 1.5.
Yeah. I look at somebody kind of askew. Anybody who is too comfortable with wild animals. I'm like, you don't
Yeah.
know anything about anything.
Right.
Get away from that thing.
I
You don't know
agree.
what's going on.
There's like this dude that he just walks around in swamps and like yoinks like lizards and alligators and snakes and stuff, and it's just he's so comfortable with it. But man, I don't think that dude's gonna live that long.
No. Well, what was that one guy's name? Like crocodile.
Steve Irwin.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Got impaled by
Okay.
this. Got an Elliott
Yeah.
Smith from a stingray.
Mhm.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or the
mm-mm.
grizzly man.
Yeah.
I mean, I did think of a bird that I don't think I would be scared of because they seem kind of cute. Are penguins?
Toucan.
Oh, penguins are so cute.
Yeah, and they don't fly or
Right.
I love a penguin.
do anything. They just
They're just fun.
waddle around.
What about a turkey?
Oh, I see a
Peck
wild
your eyes
turkey.
out, man.
There's
In St.
when
Bart's, I was walking around. There was a lot of wild turkeys. I'm like, oh no,
There's
no.
turkeys on St. Bart's?
I
there's
saw
turkeys in Lakewood.
I saw a couple and
No,
like
Lakewood is
giant
St. Bart's.
iguanas, and I'm like, okay, there's a lot of wildlife going on here that I'm not into.
Yeah. It's like Florida. Everything's trying to kill you down there.
Yeah,
The people, the animals, the heat.
I was
Everything.
just in
Yeah.
Nashville, and I didn't realize they had lizards in Nashville. But
Oh,
they
I didn't
got,
know
like,
that either.
Yeah, there was some in the condo I was staying at.
Ooh, I don't mind
Like,
the little
not
baby
inside,
ones,
like
but like
outside,
those
but-
giant ones
Yeah,
that
they're
look
like-
ugh.
Gecko size.
Yeah, I don't
like
think they're
nothing crazy.
native
Yeah.
to Tennessee. I
But
think
they
they've
were
been
around,
blown
man.
up here
Yeah.
from hurricanes and
Yeah.
things, yeah.
They're around. I didn't realize they were that far north.
Well, don't you ever watch the commercial?